The small watch repair shop at 47 Riverside Avenue sat tucked between a coffee shop and a used bookstore. Victoria Chen had owned the place for 15 years, and every morning at exactly 9 a.m., she would unlock the door, flip the sign to open, and begin another day of meticulous repair work. To her customers, Victoria was simply the neighborhood's most skilled watchmaker. She could resurrect timepieces that others deemed hopeless, coaxing life back into mechanisms with an almost magical touch. Her steady hands and patient demeanor made her a favorite among locals who trusted her with their most precious heirlooms. But Victoria Chen harbored a secret that would have shocked anyone who knew her as the quiet, unassuming woman behind the counter. This particular Friday morning started like any other. Victoria had just finished preparing her first cup of tea when she noticed the scattered components on her workbench from the previous night's work. To any casual observer, they looked like watch parts: springs, wires, small electronic components. But these weren't destined for timepieces. The bell above her door chimed, announcing her first customer of the day. Sarah Martinez entered the shop holding her 7-year-old daughter Emma's hand. In Sarah's other hand was a delicate gold watch that had clearly seen better days. "Good morning, Victoria," Sarah said with a warm smile. "I was hoping you could take a look at this. It was my grandmother's, the only thing I have left of her." Victoria accepted the watch with the reverence she reserved for all family heirlooms. It was a 1960s Omega, classic and elegant, though clearly in need of attention. "Of course," Victoria replied, her voice gentle. "It'll take a few days, but I'll have it running like new." While the adults talked, Emma's curious eyes wandered around the shop. The displays of antique timepieces fascinated her, but what really caught her attention was Victoria's workbench. Unlike the neat, organized displays in the front of the shop, the workbench seemed chaotic, covered with what looked like a rainbow of thin wires, small electronic devices, and tools she'd never seen before. Emma approached the workbench, drawn by the unusual collection of items. Among the conventional watch repair tools were things that seemed out of place: colored wires in red, blue, and yellow, small digital displays, and what appeared to be a metallic device with a countdown timer. "What are these for?" Emma asked, pointing to the colorful wires. Victoria looked up from examining Sarah's watch and noticed Emma's proximity to her specialized equipment. Without showing alarm, she calmly walked over. "Special parts for special watches, sweetheart," Victoria said, gently guiding Emma away from the workbench. "Some watches need very unique components." Emma's curiosity was far from satisfied. "What makes them special?" Victoria paused, choosing her words carefully. "Well, some watches don't just tell time. Some watches are designed to stop things, and these parts help me work on those kinds of timepieces." Sarah, overhearing the conversation, smiled apologetically. "Emma, don't bother Ms. Chen with too many questions." But Emma had already spotted something else that intrigued her: a small metal device in the corner of the workbench with numbers counting down: 4523, 4522, 4521. "Is that a special watch too?" Emma asked, pointing to the device. Victoria's expression shifted almost imperceptibly. "Yes, that's a very special kind of timer. Now, why don't you look at the pretty watches in the display case instead?" As if on cue, Victoria's phone buzzed. She glanced at the caller ID, and her entire demeanor changed. The gentle watchmaker disappeared, replaced by someone with an air of urgent professionalism. "Excuse me," she said to Sarah. "I need to take this call." Victoria stepped toward the back of the shop but remained within earshot. "Chen here," she answered. "What's the situation?" "Downtown Plaza?" "How long?" "20 minutes. I'm on my way." Emma, with a child's keen observation skills, noticed the dramatic change in Victoria's tone and body language. Gone was the soft-spoken woman who had been talking about grandmother's watches. In her place stood someone who spoke with authority and urgency. Victoria ended the call and turned back to her customers. But she was already moving with purpose, gathering specific items from her workbench. "I'm so sorry," she said to Sarah, "but I have an emergency situation. I need to close the shop unexpectedly." Sarah understood immediately. "Of course, no problem at all. Should I come back tomorrow for the watch?" Yes, that would be perfect, Victoria replied. But her attention was focused on carefully packing the colorful wires and electronic devices Emma had been asking about into a specialized case. Emma watched this process with fascination. Is someone's special watch broken? Victoria stopped packing for a moment and looked directly at Emma. Yes, sweetheart. Someone has a very important watch that's malfunctioning, and I'm the only one who knows how to fix it. As the three of them prepared to leave the shop, Emma's natural curiosity got the better of her. Ms. Chen, where are you going? Your watch shop is here. Sarah gently scolded her daughter. Emma, that's not polite to ask. But Victoria paused at the door, looking down at the earnest face of the 7-year-old girl. Perhaps it was the innocence of the question, or perhaps she was tired of maintaining her carefully constructed facade. Whatever the reason, she found herself answering more honestly than she had intended. Emma, she said, crouching down to the child's eye level. Sometimes people have more than one job. I fix watches here in my shop, but sometimes I also have to fix very dangerous watches in other places. Sarah raised an eyebrow. Dangerous watches? Before Victoria could elaborate, her phone rang again. This time, the caller seemed to have activated speaker mode because a voice filled the shop. Agent Chen, what's your ETA? The bomb disposal team is standing by, but we need our specialist. 15 minutes remaining on the timer. The voice cut off, leaving an uncomfortable silence in the small shop. Emma's eyes went wide. Bomb disposal? Are you a bomb expert? Victoria stood slowly, realizing there was no point in maintaining her cover story any longer. Yes, Emma. Along with fixing watches, I also stop very dangerous timers from going off. Sarah stared at Victoria in disbelief. You're saying you're not actually a watchmaker? I am a watchmaker, Victoria clarified. But I'm also a certified bomb disposal specialist. For the past 15 years, I've been operating under deep cover. This shop is legitimate. I genuinely repair watches. But it's also the perfect cover for my real work. Emma, far from being frightened, seemed thrilled by this revelation. That's so cool. You're like a superhero. Victoria opened her case and showed them the items Emma had been curious about. These aren't watch parts, Emma. They're bomb disposal equipment. The colorful wires, they're for disarming explosive devices. The electronic components, they help me understand how dangerous timers work. Sarah was still processing this information. But why the secrecy? Why not work openly as a bomb disposal expert? Because bomb disposal specialists become targets, Victoria explained. Criminals and terrorists know who we are, where we live, how to find us. But nobody suspects the quiet woman who fixes old watches on Riverside Avenue. Emma asked the question that was foremost in her mind. Is there really a bomb somewhere right now? Victoria nodded gravely. Yes, there is. And I have about 12 minutes to get there and stop it. Victoria's phone buzzed with a text message. She read it quickly and her expression grew even more serious. The device is in the basement of Downtown Plaza, she said, more to herself than to Sarah and Emma. C4 plastic explosive with a digital timer. They're evacuating the building now. Emma tugged on Victoria's sleeve. Can I come with you? Absolutely not, both Victoria and Sarah said simultaneously. Victoria knelt down to Emma's level again. Listen to me very carefully, sweetheart. What I'm about to do is extremely dangerous. I need you to go home with your mother and wait for me to call and say that everything is okay. But what if something happens to you? Emma asked, her excitement giving way to genuine concern. Victoria smiled, and for a moment, the gentle watchmaker returned. Nothing will happen to me, Emma. I'm very good at stopping dangerous timers. I've never let one go off, and I don't intend to start today. Victoria gathered her equipment and headed for her car, a nondescript sedan that looked as ordinary as everything else about her cover identity. As she drove away, Sarah and Emma watched from the sidewalk. Mom, Emma said, will Miss Chen really be okay? Sarah watched the car disappear around the corner. I don't know, sweetheart. But she seemed very confident, didn't she? 25 minutes later, they heard a distant rumble from downtown. But it wasn't an explosion. It was the controlled sound of a building's emergency systems activating as the threat was neutralized. Victoria's phone call came 10 minutes after that. Sarah, it's Victoria. Everything is fine. The dangerous timer has been stopped. Emma grabbed the phone from her mother. Miss Chen, you did it. You saved everyone. I just did my job, Emma, the same way I fix your grandmother's watch, very carefully, very patiently, and with the right tools. The next day, Emma insisted on visiting the watch shop. When they arrived, Victoria was back in her usual position behind the counter, working on a delicate repair. But everything was different now. Ms. Chen, Emma said excitedly, did you really stop a bomb yesterday?